Hey everyone, welcome to News Weekly. So I'm your host, Dan.
And I'm co-host Ethan yet again.
Yeah, Ethan. Right, Ethan. 1 minute. I'm sure that we're in a bit of a different room.
Yeah, I think we've had a bit of a revamp, haven't we, Daniel?
Yeah, I think we've had a bit of a revamp, haven't we? We're in a different room. So this room used to be the tracking room, and the room behind us used to be
where we recorded these videos.
Used to be the live room.
Yeah.
But we thought, let's swap them and see how it is.
You thought about that.
Yeah, I thought I'd swap it and I just did it.
And no one helped you.
No one helped me. But what are your thoughts on the swap? Do you think it's better or worse?
To be fair, I think we do actually have more room in the new room, like with this like backing behind us, with like the new lights and everything. I think it's better than what we had before, to be honest.
Yeah, well, the other thing is obviously you can't see, if I go back to that one, that end more, but it kind of like goes straight and then like corners. But this kind of helped with recording our podcasts because we can kind of more social distance and see everybody, and it's because
it's a better sense of space.
Yeah, because it's bigger, it's the same size, but it's more long ways than that ways.
Horizontal and vertical.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we needed.
Or vertical and horizontal, whatever, which way, I don't know what I'm on about, but yeah.
So, we spoke a little bit about this revamp, and obviously we've got rid of this light that changes all the time, and we've got some lamps with coloured bulbs. So obviously green's for me and purple's for Ethan. And we thought it looks quite cool as like a little bit of a thing.
And the thing is, no, this one isn't for this side. We've decided to swap them round. So if I wanted to turn his light off, I press on my side, and vice versa, because we've just crossed them round. But yeah,
we thought it looked quite cool, like just a little bit of colour there. It's different, and that's what we want to do. And obviously, hopefully, in the next couple of months to come, we can kind of more revamp this room, maybe give it a coat of paint on the wall. We're going to try and hopefully looking at getting some more better light, some proper lighting, so we can get the best videos for all you guys.
Because our views are quite important to us.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, is like we love doing these videos because we love to be able to encourage other young people.
Yes.
And the whole point about this podcast is the people that are doing the podcast is to encourage them, and the people that listen to it to encourage them as well. So
all a healthy, dependable relationship.
Yes, and we're on the Talk to Podcasts. Why don't we move on to our next bit, and that's a podcast. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Well, the next podcast coming out is the one that I ran, which is about schools and like what their opinions was of like what it was like stress-wise before and during lockdown, whenever there was in. And obviously we had Luke, who's a teacher, so we had a different insight on what it's like from a teacher's point of view as well.
Yeah.
So it was quite good.
But 1 minute, Ethan. Can you hear a bell?
Yeah, I was wondering that. I thought it was just the one going off downstairs, but it's a bit different this time.
No, it sounds like a school bell.
Well, on that note, there goes the bell.
Oh
yeah.
Wasn't that the title?
Yes, it was. Thanks for reminding me, Daniel.
That's so well prepared, was it?
We were not prepared for that at all.
I think that's one of the corniest things me and Ethan are ever going to do. We're never going to do it again.
No.
But while we're on the Talk podcast, why don't I tell you about the last week's podcast that was called Anxiety Matters. So I ran that podcast, and do you know what? For me, I thought it went really well because I hate running podcasts. I love doing this, but podcasts, no. And I think everybody spoke so openly and honestly and just truthfully about what's going on in their minds and in the hearts and in their lives.
Yeah, I think that's why it went so well, because people were so honest with each other. Like, the relationships between us have grown stronger because we've heard each other's stories that was about what we was feeling and stuff like that, like how bad it was for us and how we kind of dealt with it. So I think that's why it was one of our best podcasts yet.
Yeah, totally, and I agree. Is that just because it's my podcast? Is that why it's fair?
No, it's just because generally everyone spoke so openly about it and was so honest.
Well, I know we've done one before about anxiety when we used to how we used to do the podcast before, and I think that now we've got a bit more of a better structure, a bit more of a better knowledge of how to come across and saying things.
I think that's why it was easier to do it.
And I think as well, nothing like against everybody else that's done the podcast, but I think we've all got like a firm crew now that we all kind of know how the other person is, what the other person's, how they're going to say things. And I think because we've built that healthy dependent relationship over the months that we haven't been doing the podcasts and things, I think we've kind of gelled more together, where before it was very like, sometimes we had some people, sometimes we had other people, and it worked.
But I think now we've got constant change.
Yeah, and I think now we've got that relationship that we all have together.
That's why we're so openly able to talk about it, because we could trust those specific people to say it in front of, even though we don't know who's listening into it.
Yeah.
It was because we felt safe saying it around the others. We didn't really... It was just one of our best podcasts, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean... Oh, we had a weird like that. Anyways, while we're on podcasts, obviously don't forget to check that one out. That'll be in our link tree. Go to podcast, Spotify. No, I'm gonna put a new section. What's gonna be called last week's podcast. So you can go check last week's, and the newest podcast will be the your one. But obviously it won't be on there yet if you're watching this on the Monday, because it comes out on the Wednesday. I've got to remember all these dates. So if you go into newest podcast, it still will have the anxiety one.
Yes.
But while we're on podcasts, I want to talk a little bit about a new thing that we have started with doing the podcast. We are now on doing YouTube and Spotify. So we're filming our podcasts live as we're doing them. So you can see everybody's reaction, what everybody's doing, and you can and it's a bit more personal doing it on YouTube, so you can actually watch us and feel like you're there with us.
You can actually see what, like, facial expressions we're doing.
And Ethan going, you go.
Mainly because I want to be the last one, because I do like speaking on stuff like that. It's just, I like giving the others the opportunity to speak before me.
No, yeah, I get what you mean. And I think, do you like the idea of us maybe filming? It is something I just thought I'm just going to do it. We spoke about it for a bit, and I just thought,
to be fair,
now we've got this, let's do it.
To be fair, I think it is good that we're filming it, because you can kind of see, like, the behind the scenes and, like, the bloopers of stuff that happens. And
and
there's a lot of bloopers that have happened, but it's just a fun time, and you get to see our relationship between us all, and like how friendly we are, and how approachable we are, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, totally, and I totally agree, and I think doing the filming and stuff, I don't know, when I was watching it back and have a little bit of a watch of it just to check, I was like, it just has a different like vibe, and
as well, if it was a family instead of friends.
Well, yeah, there's a different vibe to it, because I think it brings that more personal feel of watching the podcast.
Yes.
I love podcasts where you can actually watch them doing it, and they're like sat there, and it's more interactive. Is that the right word?
Interactive.
That's the one. And everybody's going that way now. It's not just audio stuff, and I think I've just thought that's the way we should go. And I didn't really tell anyone. I just said, we're filming it, by the way.
The one thing that I don't like about filming them, though, is people can now watch you drinking your water and your drinks.
Well, like you're going to do right now.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll skip to me. So, yeah, because, but Ethan, going on about that, you wouldn't, you wouldn't really see, because obviously we've got the two cameras, and it randomly happened when we was doing the podcast with Courtney that is about LGBTQ. Well, it's more about
which
sexuality.
Will be coming out in a couple of weeks' time, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm right in saying it was more about aimed at sexuality than anything else, wasn't it?
And how you feel about it. Yeah.
And it was very weird because it was like the girls were at one side and the boys were at one side. It just randomly happened that way. Somehow.
Because that's usually how we sit in the old room.
It's so weird because it just kind of happens in that way because everybody sits in like the same chair,
the same
and
areas,
same space. Yeah. So it's like Ethan's on channel 1, Jordan's on channel 2, Sasha's on channel 3, Cot is on channel 4.
If Jamie's in, he's usually between Sasha and...
No, I put flipping Jamie on like channel 5. Like I just shove it there.
He's usually in the middle of Jordan and Sasha.
Yeah, and my mic pack is going red. And I'm guessing that means it's about to die.
Which means we'll have to check mine.
Show's green.
Yeah, mine's still green. We might just have to use mine.
Was it on?
It's on.
Was it on there?
It was on.
Right, so it's still got a light. So let's quickly speed this conversation up quickly.
Well, it's going to be summer soon, so why don't we talk about the summer school?
Yes, why don't we talk about the summer school? Let's rush. Quick, go. So, if you didn't see last week's, we're going to rush this like they do on the show. If you didn't see last week's episode, obviously we spoke a little bit about what's going to be going on. You pig.
Sorry about that, everyone.
You pig. With the summer school, right, we're rushing. With the summer school, then you can go obviously watch a little bit about it. Was a bit sceptic of what's happening, but things are kind of changed. Do you want to maybe explain a little bit about what the changes are?
I don't know what the changes are,
right,
Daniel.
So the changes are, what's happening is, basically we're not doing East and West anymore. We're just going to be splitting into 2 groups. Some of it's going to be looking a little bit differently. If my mic is off, I won't know till afterwards. I will let you know, but
we might just put mine in the middle so it's easier.
That's fine. Just keep it on for now, mate. Okay, there we go. So if my mic's not working, we could go to this one. So I just want to say, so some things have changed, and obviously if you're part of Freedom Road, then get in touch with Holly, Gary, Ian Thompson, someone like that, even Ian Bolton, and would love to see you at the summer school if you're part of Freedom Road, because I think you'll get so much out of it. We've got so much fun planned. I think this is still going. But that's basically everything for this week's News Weekly.
Yeah, it is, Dan, so should we quickly close this off?
I don't think we've ever had to do this before.
It was COVID safe because I was still my distance away.
Yeah, so let's end this episode. So I've been Dan.
And I've been Ethan.
Don't forget to check us on social media and everything like that, Linktree. And you have been watching News Weekly! And we can't say with a light change anymore!
Yes! No light change! Wait! Aww.
See you next week.